Good morning and welcome to this episode of the Garden Tours. We're going to try and be quick here. We got a lot of work to do in the garden and we've been gone for a week, so we're just going to kind of show you what we came back to. Here we go. Okay, so we're going to try and be quick today. We've got a ton of peppers to harvest. We've got a lot of these pimento type peppers, some traditional pimentos. Some of them have gotten a little dehydrated. It was supposed to be in the 80s, mid 80s when we left, and it turned out to be in the high 99, 98. The whole time we were gone, we're getting a lot of Buena Mulata that are getting ripe, so it's time to start harvesting peppers and fermenting some pepper sauce. The beans, we planted some beans before we left. Those have come up. This carbon tomato continues to sprawl out here, and we're still harvesting tomatoes. I don't know if you can see those green tomatoes back there, but those are going to be ripe soon. We've got, looks like that one, there's a red one right there that we should have probably gotten. We have harvested a few tomatoes. As soon as we got back, we came out and cleaned them out, but there's still more in there to get. They're doing fine. We have watered the last couple of days. And this is the white pequeño. I think I talked about this last time. And so I really like this pepper. I think it's going to ferment well into some pepper sauce. So we'll probably grow this again next year. And more beans, bush beans down here. This is a different type. I can't remember. I think these are purple. And the peppers are doing okay. One of the things when we were gone and we came back is the peppers that, you know, are, yeah, so some of them, like that one's certainly overripe and dry, but I'm getting some habanadas ripe down there. These orange ones. Yeah. So, but all of the potted plants just looked pitiful, and I'm sure it didn't help that they got as dry as they did, but you can tell there we've got some nice 7 pots still, and we've got some Kinstar Yellow Starburst on several plants, that one included, but everything that's potted had a real tough time. The Tabasco is ripening up well. We've continued to mow around. I need to pull out these cantaloupes because, like I said in the last video, you know, this virus or whatever got these leaves. See that pattern? I mean, all the leaves got that. There are a couple plants starting to come back now with green leaves, but we just need to pull those out. Those are done. What else? The amaranth is ready to harvest. I mean, you can see it's falling over. All the seeds are getting tall. And we also, even since we've got back, we've had raccoon damage getting into the corn. They've really put a hurt on the corn while we were gone and just clawing down the ears and eating them. You can see there's some cobs in there that are completely eaten. And it could be squirrels, but I suspect it's raccoons. Anyway, we're probably going to go ahead and pull all these ears and dry them. They haven't gotten all the ears, and we're planning to, you know, grind this for cornmeal. So unfortunately, they've probably gotten over half of the corn harvest while we were gone. And so we just need to start pulling those out and taking care of those. The okra, you know, we need to come in and harvest some, but most of these are hard, so we may just let these go to seed at this point. I got too much seed, so maybe we'll cut some off. And we'll walk back around in a minute and show you the other side, because I know I've skipped a bunch of stuff going this direction. But while we're over here, this is some of the white amaranth. I call it white amaranth because I think the seeds are a white seed. And it's not quite ready, but our giant amethyst. This is a single plant. It's the exact same as those other ones that we just looked at. Same seed, everything. It's just one single plant. And you can see it's huge and not quite ready like those other ones. Those other ones are ready. They're dropping seeds pretty good, but you know, this stalk is pretty, I mean, that's pretty thick there. So just to give you an idea of how big that is pretty big. And and it's definitely starting to shade out the blueberries now and some other stuff. So we may come in here and just go ahead and cut these heads and put them in a paper sack and let them finish drying in a sack, just so we can cut this back and get light back to some of those blueberries. The watermelons are doing fine. Move this ginger a little bit. So you can see in there, got a nice watermelon there. We've got one over here. And there's several. There's one over there. Right down there. And there's one right here. And it looks like I need to come in and trim some runners that we just don't need. I don't see any. I mean, I guess there's some flowers right there for the Mexican gherkins, but again, those are somewhat of an afterthought. The ginger is still surviving. I think the shade actually helps it. These blueberries mostly are doing okay. I got one over there that looks like it's taking a lot of heat damage or something, maybe shading out. This one that's getting leaned on pretty hard by this amaranth. Definitely have to open that up. So we're just going to be doing a lot of work to clean up the garden. We've got lots of cantaloupe. I came back and we've already harvested, I don't know, another 20 pounds of cantaloupe. This one is almost perfectly ready. We'll keep our eye on them if it starts to split. So see this tendril right here is not completely dry back to the stem. It's starting to dry, and this is starting to yellow, but we really prefer this be dried all the way back. And there's another tendril over here, and it's almost dry. So these are pretty close to ripe. You could harvest those now and let them finish on the counter, but if they start to split on the bottom, we'll definitely pull them. This is the pink jazz tomato. I should probably stake it up to the trellis, clean out some of this cantaloupe stuff here. We do have some other cantaloupe starting to ripen right back in here and all down the trellis. Jalapenos, we harvested a bunch of these and took them with us when we left. We were getting some ripe jalapenos before we left, and there's still plenty of big jalapenos all up and down on the Zapotecs. The Zapotecs seem to be taking a little longer to ripen. I see a few back there that are red. But we're going to start harvesting all those for fermented hot sauce and just to stuff and make pepper poppers out of them. This is the Foodorama, supposed to be a Foodorama red Scotch bonnet, and we're getting a number of ripe peppers on it. This red one back here, we will probably pull that tonight. We're having a birthday party and we're going to do a pepper tasting, and we'll probably taste that one this evening. And then you can see back there, or hopefully you can see back there, there are a number of ripe orange spice jalapenos. I mean, there's just a bunch of them. We need to get in there and get most of those. And then we've got tons. Looks like we dropped a lot of peppers in the heat while we were gone. But yeah, we've got a number of the Kinstar. These are supposed to be Kinstar lemon starburst. I mean, that one looks more like a 7-pot to me. But we'll probably taste that one tonight too. What else do we got here? A bunch of green ones. And just tons of orange spice that are coming on and ripening up. So that's going to make some great fermented hot sauce and pepper poppers, etc. Sunflowers are about done for the season. We have been harvesting seeds mostly on the chocolate cherry. We need to come out and get some of these yellow variety. They're not quite ready yet for seeds. I mean, a couple of them probably are. This one is right here. That one is ready, and we need to start saving seeds from that. And then we need to come out and just start. Soon these will all be dead, and we're just going to randomly come through here and collect seed heads on the zinnias, which I don't know if you know, but you know, the seed is on the tip here of the petal. So hopefully you can see that. Little arrowhead type thing. And we'll just collect a whole bunch of seeds. Got a few weeds in there I need to get pulled out. Let's walk over here. So something has pulled my pump actually out of the water feature here, which is annoying because it's trying to run. That sucks. So I'll come back and fix that later. The squirrels are just, I don't know if it's squirrels and raccoons or just squirrels, but they are amazingly damaging to things. Pretty zinnias. So sage looked like it didn't like being dry and hot for that long. Borage is starting to flower. That's the blue little flowers right here. Zinnias are popping. So the herbs are doing okay. Oregano's doing great. These are some black oil sunflowers that just volunteered from bird seed that we've been putting out. And so the rest of this is doing all right. The grapes are doing okay. We need to come in and do a good prune on them soon, and just continue to seed the seeds that need the winter chill hours to germinate. And let's go over and take a look at cherry, which continues to just be, you know, dead. I mean, it looks dead to me. I mean, there's some flexibility in it. I don't know. I mean, that seems dead up there. Maybe it's alive down here. I don't know. I'm willing to let it go. I may contact Stark Brothers and just ask them what they think about that. I really hate that it just died all of a sudden. All right, let's go check out the figs. So here is our Chicago Hardy, and it's just doing great. It's got tons of growth on it, and it's got a lot of figs actually. So let's see some of the earlier figs. You see there's a fig in there, and there's not just one, there's a number of them. all over. I don't know if you can see those or not, but anyway, figs are going and it's looking good, and I probably need to top it because I don't know that the extra growth is going to do anything for us for next year. I think these Chicago Hardy produces on new growth, so I don't really need it to be 5 foot tall. So I probably need to come through and top those soon. Let's go take a look at the Desert King. All right, so here is the brown turkey, and it looks like it's getting a little bit of insect pressure, and that's got a fig set on it, which is, great for that little plant. I don't think it's going to make before our frost hits. And then we've got this Desert King, and the Desert King is doing, I guess it's doing good. It continues to put on new shoots down near the base. We did lose some wood and have some dieback, at the top, but that's okay. We'll prune all that stuff off, as it goes dormant. We'll prune that dead wood off and get going. So I think this one is going to make it, Desert King. Let's take a look at this side of the garden. So this is kind of where we started with the pimentos. We've got tons of the peach cherry peppers that have dropped. I need to come out here and just pick all those and start using them in pepper ferments. We talked a little bit about the carbon tomatoes a minute ago, and it does continue to put on. Let me change my... So seeing there's a nice carbon tomato that we need to harvest. I don't know if I can get that really with one hand. And then there's some other big ones right here. So it continues to do well. And if you look at the leaves here, there's just no disease, no anything. It's still putting on flowers, So the carbon's going to be a must for us next year. If you compare that to the Prudence Purple, it's got a lot of leaf disease. It's kind of winding down. You see there's a lot of brown leaves back there. That's all on the Prudence Purple. The Super Sweet 100 has just overgrown this direction, and there's still tons of cherry tomatoes on it. Stinking squirrels digging in my carrot patch. It's kind of annoying. And if you follow on Instagram, and maybe we covered this in the last video, we planted this out, and so we've got beets here and along the edge over there. And then these carrots here were yellow carrots from a free packet of seeds from Baker Creek. This half of the open bed right here was, I think, Bolero, which is an orange carrot, pelleted seed. And I'm really surprised that the best germination so far has been with these yellow carrots. I think these may have been pelleted seeds over here too, which was a purple carrot. We're just going to have to come back through because we only have, the germination on these was not very good. And again, we planted them and we left. So keeping them moist was difficult, and it's not a huge surprise. I guess the biggest surprise is that the yellow carrots germinated so well. So we are still behind on getting this bed amended and planting into it. We need to do that this weekend. We have went ahead and harvested some squash, and because I stopped maintaining the squash before we left, just because the squash bugs were, I just cannot stand the squash bugs. So this is the big North Georgia Candy Roaster squash. We got a few butternuts that we pulled out. Got some seed cucumbers that are just laying here getting sun scalded from the market more variety. And then you can tell, you know, I've kind of mowed this ground cherry a little bit. They are really like a weed here. They taste great, they're fun, but they don't produce a ton of food, and they really do spread like a weed. And these squash bugs just kill me. And I say every year I'm not gonna, you know, grow squash the next year just because of that. And so there's a bunch of squash bugs. So I need to get out here with some soapy water and spray all of those, and just kill them, kill the squash bugs. And so all of this, you know, I decided before we left to just let these vines die out and not try and, you know, compete with the squash bugs, because this is a difficult area. If it were trellised and I could get on both sides of the trellis, that would make managing the squash bugs easier. But I think I have convinced myself next year we're not growing the squash. So this pepper looks like it still needs a little more water. See how it's wilting, and it's the morning time. There's actually dew out. So, and these peppers, this is the El Oro de Ecuador, which is the gold of Ecuador. And these are a wonderful sweet pepper. I think I tasted those on the last video. If you watch to the end, there's a taste test. So we need to get some water on this pot. And even though this pot is huge, it still takes a lot of water. The sweet potatoes, you can tell, I mean, they're just doing fine, growing everywhere. Probably need water back there. We're getting a lot of blooms now on the beans, but, you know, I still have looked around. I don't see any pods. It's just beans. And you know, we left 2 vines of market morris, so we need to get out here, make some cucumber relish tonight. And this one definitely needs water as well. This is the rainforest pepper, and it's in dire need of water. And then again, you can tell what the critters have done to the corn. It's just awful. But I mean, it is what it is. And so some of these where the corn is fallen over, I mean, these should be ready to go. Let's take a look. So it's real pretty corn. And it's supposed to be really good for grinding. We're going to find out, I guess. And definitely when it was in the cream stage, fresh, they were good to eat as sweet corn, but too late for that now. So anyway, we're going to come pull all these cobs, cut down these corn stalks, and we're going to have to do the same with the amaranth, because I can't even get, you know, over here. I guess I should walk over there and show you the brassicas that we planted. Looks like I'm going to have to cut down some of that kale too. It's starting to lean. So let's get over there, take a look. So again, and I'm not sure if the critters, I mean, it almost looks like a critter has put, these were not like this last night. And I think we may just cut these down and get them out of the way, because now that they're pushed over as a harlequin bug, now that they're pushed over, they're really shading out some of these brassicas that were down here. So we're just going to have to go get the loppers and get rid of those, because this is purple sprouting broccoli. Looks like we got some tomato volunteers popping up there, and it looks like the harlequin bug damage is pretty good on these starts. So we got cabbages and purple sprouting broccoli mostly in there, and we're just going to have to clean that bed up a little bit. So that is primarily it for the quick walk around tour. We just got so much to do. I mean, look, they've been in here, critters. So we're just going to have to do a lot of work this weekend to get control of this. So that's the quick version of the garden tour for this week. And thanks for joining. If you don't follow us on Instagram, you might check us out at Frosty Sith on Instagram. As I mentioned earlier in the video, we'll probably are going to be doing a pepper tasting, and maybe we'll do a reel, or maybe we'll do some shorts of that and post it. But if you want a little extra content, Instagram is the place to get it. And if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you get notification every time we update new content here on the channel. And remember, whenever you can, get up, get out, live a little. See ya.